We're here with Balisha, who is the Assistant Director on Present Laughter, our opening production of Festival 18. And we've got some questions for you.
Go ahead.
So, should we start with, how did you become an Assistant Director?
Oh, that's
What led you here?
What got me here?
Yes.
I am also a director, so I try and balance the two.
Mm-hmm.
What got me here was the application form.
Great.
To start off with. So Chichester do this amazing thing where they call out to loads and loads of different people, not only in Chichester but around regional places too, through loads of different channels. I actually found out just on Twitter about this scheme, and then I was told through other people who have done it previously as well, and then I just applied and had an interview in London, which is really lovely, and that's where I met Daniel Evans, who is our lovely artistic director here.
Yes.
And then that's how I got here. How I became an assistant director was trial and error, really. You just sort of talk to as many people as you can, and you start to kind of, I guess, go to theatres and see what's going on, look at the plays that are on, and give it a go. The more you talk to people, the more you know about actually what schemes are offered for assistant directors, not just in Chichester but regionally and nationally as well.
Fab. So for those who know less about sort of how the directing process works, etc., what would you say is the role of an assistant director in the rehearsal room?
That question, I think, is undefinable.
Fair.
Because it is so broad, and it really does depend on who you're with, who you're working with, the building you're working with. But the best thing to do, which I found as an assistant director, is just ask. Ask in your interview, ask your director what is required of you. And even during the process, continue asking questions. The more questions you ask, the more you understand and define and change what that role is. So yeah, that's how I did it.
So what did you do on this production?
What did I do? Mostly laugh, because it's a comedy. So I spent a good chunk of time going, that's funny, which is useful in our rehearsal room. I spent a lot of time, practically speaking, going through lines with actors, making sure they're comfortable, making sure they're happy, conversations about the script, conversations about maybe what is going on in scenes, just really, it's about being present, and it's about bringing a positive energy every day into a rehearsal room, and if you do that, then I think you kind of reap the rewards of it when it comes to press night, which is today.
So would it have been different, do you think, working on a comedy as opposed to if you were working on a drama? Like, would the role change, or would you just cry instead of laugh?
Maybe. I think it is seriously just dependent on who you have in the room and the requirements that your director has of you. It's not necessarily different in the things that you might do, practically speaking. So you still would run lines with people. You still would sort of help people with their calls and things like that. Managing, so with stage management, talking to them a lot. Basically just talking, that's what you do really. Just a lot of talking. But no, I mean, the requirement is different in the sense of maybe if it's a contemporary play you're looking at, then you end up spending time on scripts more than anything. If it's a comedy, then maybe this was a logistical comedy, so we spent a lot of time looking at the logistics and motions of how things are done. So if you come and see the production, there's moments where doors are slammed, and that was something that was constantly choreographed and constantly looked at. That's just one example of many. So it just really does depend on who you have in the room, and being able to be flexible with that.
And what would you say are the biggest challenges when you start a new production, when you go to those initial meetings, initial rehearsals?
It's day one. Just get day one out of the way. Do your meet and greet. Say hi to everyone. Be really nice, and then just go home. Like, if you get day one out of the way, every other day, I promise you, is so much nicer. maybe other people don't feel like that, but I feel like that. Day one is just one that you need to get out of the way, because it's just that initial meeting of meeting everyone for the first time, but knowing you're going to end up spending 4 to 6 weeks together sometimes, and sometimes even longer. So if you're just confident on day one and get that out of the way, everything else will be a breeze.
What has made you laugh most in the rehearsal room?
What has made me laugh most? It's a spoiler, so I don't think I can give it. What's made me laugh most was our wonderful actor Karra. Her first day in rehearsal made me laugh because she literally just came in and just told everybody what she's doing, and everyone just burst out laughing. And it was just so fantastic that she just came in and took charge, and I was just like, this woman is amazing. As alongside, of course, everybody else who I think are equally amazing. But just, it's a spoiler, so I can't give it. Yeah. But what she does in the play is what made me laugh the most.
What processes did you have to go through with the actors and with Sean, the director, in terms of making this play that's much older relevant today?
I think it's about consistently challenging and questioning things in the text that might not be so relevant today. I think there were loads of conversations we had whereby I definitely picked up on things and went, oh, is this necessary today? Is there a way we can change it or update it or make it more relevant? Because, it is an older text. So language has definitely changed to some degree. So that really was part of what I did.
We had someone who wants to know, where were all the dressing gowns sourced?
That is a great question, which is a question for a designer. So if you wanted to find the answer to that question, you'd have to speak to our lovely designer, and also our lovely costume department here. So tweet them.
What do you think you will take forward from working on this production to future work? Are there specific things you think you've learnt during this process, or?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's vital when you become an assistant director to really engage with yourself and understand exactly what it is you want to get out of it too, because especially from a directing perspective, for me it's important to learn as much as I can from other directors, but also be able to I guess understand the challenges of, so for example, I've never done a comedy before, so this was a great opportunity to learn how a comedy is constructed, and that's something I can now take away and say, oh, I've done that now, so I know the beats of comedy. Or to some, I hope I do. But yeah, I think a wise man once said to me before one of my first assistant directing interview, to think about what it is that you want to do, and what you want to do, is it going to be useful to a director? Because if the things you're going in with, essentially you are assisting a director, so you need to make sure that the things you're also learning are in a way supporting that person, and making sure that those two things line up is really useful, because that's how you get the most out of the job, but also out of the process of learning and building a relationship.
And what are you going on to do next?
I will be off to Paynes Plough to work on their roundabout tour, which is a fantastic tour that goes to loads of different venues. I think we're going to Theatre Clwyd first in Mold, and we're spending a month there, but it's a lovely tour which I think really does help people who haven't seen theatre before access theatre in a new and unusual way. So I'll be there for a bit, so come check out the roundabout tour.
We will. And do you have any plans beyond that, as things that you want to direct yourself, anything that you're working on?
Yes.
That you can tell us about?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for like I said earlier, it's important that we find a balance between, if you're a director anyway, to find a balance between assisting and directing. So one thing that I try to do is I'm from Birmingham, so I talk to a lot of regional playwrights on the work that they're doing, and supporting scripts in that way, and doing research and development weeks in order to engage with more work that is outside of London or outside of the norm.
And one final question, very important. Are there any pens or pencils you'd specifically recommend for making the best notes in the rehearsal room?
I think the best pens and pencils are supplied by the stage management. So if anyone knows the answer to that question, it will be stage management. So what I tend to do is just nick their pens and pencils, and then tell them I'm going to give it back, and then hopefully they find their way back to take them forever. No, and then I, give them back. They work really hard. Give their pens and pencils back.
Thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed your time in Chichester.
I absolutely have.
And we're very excited to see Press Night tonight.
Great. See you then.
Yeah.